Hey, I think we're on. I think I did it. I think we've done the thing, and we are live. Hello, how's everybody doing today? My name is Zach, because you knew that, and I'm going to paint some minis. So, before we get started on another exciting adventure of paint, there are a couple things I want to discuss right at the top for those of you who may be watching this in the future. I am doing a sub goal and a donation goal. You can get the details on those in the ticker scroller, ticker tape thing down at the bottom. If we can get 20 subscriptions by Christmas, then I am going to be doing a finger paint challenge mini where I will paint a mini entirely using nothing but my fingers. I'm more and more doubtful that it's humanly possible, but we're going to try it anyway. What else? Second thing, I still am working towards replacing my hard drive that had all of my 3D printable minis on it, which is the donation goal. So if you want to support the channel, want to help me get my miniature printing and painting nonsense back up and running, go to twitch.tv/dungeonbrush, which is where you should be watching this, frankly, and click the About section and the Donate button. You can also donate via Venmo. The Venmo will be right there. It is. Right there. Boop. You can donate via Venmo, or you can buy supplies for the channel off of the Amazon wish list. All of these things go straight back into the channel. None of it goes into my stomach or my lungs. It's all for the channel. So if you like what we're doing, feel free to support us. Also, I've got this weird thing that I'm playing with it because it's neat. It's a gadgety thing where my camera is like doing all these dramatic zooms and pull-ins all on its own. I am not controlling that in any way. It's supposed to be doing like a follow my face kind of thing, but it just seems to be just dramatically zooming in and zooming out, which I'm alright with. I'm kind of having fun with it. The miniature today. The miniature today is going to be an interesting one. It's actually not a super complicated mini. It is the, here she is, the Ghoul Queen from Reaper Miniatures. This is the Reaper Bones version of the Ghoul Queen. But I'm going to be trying something new today. I'm going to be trying to paint sheer fabric. So, I don't know how well you can see it in the lighting right now, or the camera, but we're going to try anyway. Right through here on her leg, and then like over here on this hip, basically right around her waist and stomach area. We're going to be trying to paint that in such a way that that fabric looks see-through and that you see like the hint of skin underneath that. This is a technique I've been kind of researching the last few days. No idea if it's going to work. And who knows? It's probably going to take forever and a day to actually paint, but we're going to try it anyway. For the last like 20 minutes before the stream started, I was struggling, what color paint should I do? But it doesn't really matter. Is what I came up with. It doesn't really matter. So to start, we're just gonna start like painting any other mini. In that, we're gonna basically paint it like anything else I would ever paint until we get the dress done, and then it gets weird. So yeah, how's everybody doing out there in internet land? It's been a few days. I keep saying that I'm gonna do like these daytime streams and stream during the day and stream more often, but it turns out that kind of stuff like requires time and energy, and more often than not I don't have that. So those things are coming, they're just not here yet. I'm just gonna go through and paint some skin. She's gonna be awfully pale, our Ghoul Queen. She's a Ghoul Queen after all. I feel like Ghoul Queens should be pale. And we're going to do her dress blues. Blue is a good see-through color. A lot of blue fabric is inherently sheer, so I figured blue would be a good color to play with, since we're going to be doing this weird sheer fabric thing. Well, I'm going to just, you know, sit here and paint for a minute. And if you pop in and I don't see you popping in, feel free to say hi. You know, I do like having a good little chat while I paint. So feel free to pop in. You know, aside from, like, the weird, you know, see-through bits that we're going to be doing on our clothes, this figure actually doesn't have a lot of exposed skin, which, you know, makes it kind of weird for a mini that I'm painting. I'm just kind of going through, and, you know, we're going to do the face and the neck and the upper chest, and then there's like this weird little like thing right here, this kind of keyhole, and then there's two little stripes of exposed skin there. You know, actually, I think I'm gonna do I'm not gonna do the sheer fabric on the torso. I'm gonna do that as though it's a different piece of clothing altogether. I have a reference picture here that I'm looking at. This model is really, really small with a lot of like really fine details, so it helps me to have a picture kind of zoomed in so that I can see, you know, all the difficult little spots that I'm missing. Going to go in and do a second little coat of that. Smooth everything out a little bit. Which it can be kind of difficult to do on a Reaper Bones figure. This is Reaper from the Reaper Bones line, and they're not the smoothest miniatures in the world. Get a good consistency on my skin paint here. Sometimes harder than it needs to be. All right. Well, there's that. I feel like I need to remind people of this fairly repeatedly. If you are watching on Facebook, which I don't know if anyone is or not. If you are watching on Facebook, unfortunately, I cannot see your comments. I can see YouTube, I can see Twitch, but unfortunately, for some reason, I cannot see the comments from Facebook. So, if you're watching on Facebook and you feel like I'm ignoring you, that's why. This really nice, like, super dark blue. Let's put a little bit of... just thinning that out a little bit with some good old Vallejo thinning medium. This paint just came out of the pot a little thick. And since I've been playing with this wet palette, like the smoothness and thinness of paint has really kind of come to the forefront of my attention. Right. Up to a certain point, I'm just going to be painting this miniature as though it were any other miniature. I'm not going to do anything special or fancy. At least not for a while. Seems to be a little... There we go. There we go. That is a really nice blue, actually. This is Vallejo's model color, Prussian blue, dark Prussian blue. Which is an unfortunate name, but a really pretty color. Is that a foot? No. Coming together. Convenient. The good thing, like the really convenient, nice thing about a mini this size, this is a 28mm scale miniature, and unlike most miniatures that say they're 28mm scale, this one's actually 28mm. Why is it an unfortunate name? From what I recall, it has some unfortunate implications based around World War II and a certain team of baddies in World War II. If I remember correct, I could be wrong. I could be remembering this entirely incorrectly. Hold on. Let me double check this. Hi, Greta. Good to see you. Okay, I'm thinking of something entirely different. So never mind. Never mind anything that I just said. I was thinking of something entirely different. So yeah, anyway, this is Vallejo's dark Prussian blue. It's a very pretty, deep blue. Unfortunately, once we're done, there's not going to be a lot of it left. But it's going to make a great base for everything I'm doing. We're going to bring the blue in this fabric up really, really high. I did a zenithal highlight when I was priming this model, which is where it sounds fancy, but all it means is that I primed it black and then I primed it again blue, gray, but only from a certain angle, only from the angle of that I was going to be painting the light on, and it doesn't really do anything on this scale. And with the techniques that I use in painting just yet, but it does a lot for showing me where the details are. And unfortunately, this model is just so many of the details are just so strange and just obscure, weird little shapes that takes me a minute to figure out how they all go together. I've been looking forward to painting this one for a while, but also terrified of painting this one because I knew basically from the get-go that I was going to do this sheer fabric technique, and I've never done it, and I'm 100% sure that I'm not going to be satisfied with the result. Alright, well, that's a blue dress. Ooh, and you know what? We're gonna do... We're gonna treat her sleeves as a separate piece as well. And now I just need to come up with a color for her corsety bit in the middle. What color? What color do you think with this blue dress? We've also got these like capey bits that she's holding up, like a drape bit, and they overlap the lower dress far more than they do the upper parts. So I want them to be their own kind of standoff color. Decisions. I don't like them. Maybe just a different blue. Like a teal. Maybe a purple. Maybe like a maroon, like a deep. Okay, yeah, that's what we're doing. I like this. We're gonna go pinky purple, purpley pink for the mid chest torso. That's it. Shouldn't need a lot. Yeah, I like that. I like that. Can't see the back of her torso at all, so that's good. A whole portion of Minnie that I don't have to paint. Alright. I'm gonna go ahead and get started at least on the silver of her gauntlet here. There are some metallic parts to this outfit, and I'm going to predominantly be doing those silver, I think. There's like some jewelry. Jewelry is the wrong word, but it's about as close as I've got right now. Like dangling from her belt. That I think I'll do gold. but for now. So far, I'm absolutely in love with my my wet palette, except for when it comes to doing metallics. Struggling on these details up here on the arms. They're so tiny. They're so hard to see. Let's see here. More silver. Up around the chest, I think. Yeah. So I did this like a continuation of the sleeves, as though the sleeves connect in the middle to form essentially their own piece of clothing. I don't know if that's entirely what was supposed to happen, but it's what happened. Little skull there that I would like to be gold, and I'm going to go ahead and do that gold skull just to fill that space so that there's not just like black spots on the model all over the place. Just trying to fill as much detail as I can with color blocking so that I can get on to doing the fun stuff. I don't know how well y'all can see that, but it's coming along. The beginning of this mini is going to be a sprint. Like, it's going to be, like, no joke. This is going to be super fast in the beginning. And then it's going to be that last little bit when things start to drag. Because I'm going to be doing some serious, like, fine detail work where I'm just going to be putting on just the barest hint of a color. I decided that her little arm flappy doodles should match her corset. I'm gonna shade them a little differently, but at least base color wise, they're gonna be the same color. This isn't going to be my most talkative stream ever. Just not a lot to talk about personally. Yeah. Historic costume stuff. I think you can. I think you can alter that pattern to fit you. It's not like you are a dramatically different shape than humans were a few years ago. Turns out humans have more or less stayed the same shape for quite a while. Let's do some brown on some of these straps on the dress. We are getting awfully close to where I can start playing with my new techniques here. I don't know if you guys can see it super well, but I'm pretty happy with this, how it's coming together. And that's the thing, is I'm going to get it to a point where I'm very happy with it, and then I'm possibly going to just completely screw it up Well, that's the thing, you know. Sometimes you just gotta paint like. Sometimes you gotta paint like you just don't care about the $4 or $3 that it costs to buy the mini. You know, blue and brown as a color combo, I don't actually hate it. I'm gonna have to remember that. What are you? Are you you're a strap. Hey, John, how are you, sir? Good to see you. Well, then I'm just on my game, Jen, because this model is brown and purple and blue. With some gold in there just for funsies. Ooh, I just saw something that I did that I didn't mean to do. Oh, not bad. Not bad, John. Got this cool mini. Got a cool idea for a paint job. What more do we need? I'm gonna take this purple and put it right here. So instead of a little ornament down at the bottom of this wing, for lack of a better term, it's going to be a gold ring that bundles everything together. I think that'll look cooler. All right. Thank you, sir. It's doing something. It's coming together a little bit at a time. Now, before I start getting into all of the decorative mess in the back or the hair or trying to do any details on the face, I want to kind of move ahead full tilt with my crazy plan here. So I'm going to go ahead and shade the skin. Give her a little bit of color. She's still going to be pale, but significantly less so. Oh yeah, she looks alive now. That, like, she's got some Some blood in her veins. She may be a ghoul queen, but I'm thinking of her as a living person who just happens to control some ghouls. Now, what do I want? I want this super dark gray. And I'm going to go in and line some detail lines on her torso to give her kind of a bit more detail there. And shadow, because all of this is going to get glazed over. So really, all I'm doing is some texture. Yes, 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 yes. Let's go ahead and then give the chest a nice dark wash. And then to tie the skirt and the wings together, I'm going to give them kind of a blue tint. Make them a slightly different purple. And we will rudimentarily basically do it in a very basic way. Bring all of this back up to a good highlight space. Doesn't have to be perfect. And then we can start doing some see-through fabric. And I'll use the same blue on the skirt. Alright. She just has been washed. Now, let's see how that looks in a minute. Alright. See, I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit, but that's okay. So I just want to put a dab of black down. There we go. And very carefully, very, very carefully. I want to get into the eye socket. Two moss. Two moss. It's alright. I have just the thing. Just trying to go ahead and get at least some semblance of an eye while I'm waiting for everything to dry. Oof. Alright. Well, we've completely fucked that. There's a bit of the face that's just going to get a repaint. Alright, we'll leave that alone for a second. Okay, I want my purple. Actually, no. I have a pink. Which pink do I want? I want this one first. I'm going to start bringing some of that purple back up to a deep, good highlight. Glaze. There we go. Another blue. Start doing the same thing. Our blue skirt. I don't have to do a lot of highlight here because a lot of it's going to get taken up by this crazy skin thing I'm going to be doing. Alright, so here's what we're going to do. We are going to paint this leg, this hip, and this butt with the skin tone as if there was no dress there. We'll be leaving some of that blue. Specifically, we're going to leave the ridges of the fabric blue. And then once that has completely dried, we will be taking our blue and glazing that blue back over so that that skin tone is tinted with the blue of the dress. That way, the leg will be showing through the blue, essentially. Hey, Pius. Good to see you, my friend. How are you? Just going through and I'm just bringing this skin up a little bit more opaque. Because essentially, I've got to essentially treat this like it is skin and not fabric, which means it needs washed, it needs highlights. It needs everything that the rest of the skin is going to get. on this side, I definitely painted some of those wrinkles that I was supposed to leave blue, but that's okay. Can always fix it. Oh, living the dream, my friend, living the dream. Sitting here painting some minis. Trying to fill my time. There we go. Alright. Just gonna touch some of this blue back up. Get these wrinkles. In the fabric. They're gonna have to be blue. Otherwise our effect isn't going to make any sense. Come on. Alright. Now, what I did is this skin tone is actually the first skin tone plus the wash already, so that I don't have to wash that the way I would need to wash something else. Let's do just a little bit more on the torso here while we wait for some shite to dry. Now we're going to take some of the original flesh tone, some of that second flesh tone, and make us a nice highlight. Ah! Booger. Alright. Where was I? What was I doing? Now comes the scary part. Take all that off so that, yes. Now we're just gonna go over everything with our blue glaze. You can already kind of see what I was going for. If you can see the mini, I can't really tell. Yeah, wet palette's working great. I'm just using some of my blue glaze here to blend everything together that's see-through. glaze I put on there, the more blue everything becomes. And I'm using the same blue on the rest of the skirt as well. Now let's take some of our first blue here, some of our dark blue. Just gonna kind of feather in from the sides just to soften the transitions here, because I didn't do a very good job of that. Alright, more glaze. More glaze. Always more glaze. And this time I'm just going to work around the edges down. Because I'm using a lighter blue. I'm using the mid-tone blue. So I kind of want to go over everything with that blue. I'm going to glaze the whole thing. And there it is. I've got me a see-through. Oh, I didn't do the backside at all. Motherfucker. God damn it. Alright, well. Before I go congratulating myself, I should always check and make sure I haven't screwed it up somewhere else. I haven't screwed it up. I just forgot a huge chunk. Oh yes, I am very pleased. I am very pleased with how this looks in the front, at least. The back still needs some work. Slightly higher blue, do a little bit of a highlight. Let's get fancy. I've lost a little bit of my, hey cat, lost a little bit of my flesh tone here, so I'm just going to do a couple quick little very light glazes of that, just to bring, as a visual reminder, this is skin tone. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I'm not touching it anymore. I'm leaving that alone because I'm pretty happy with that. It looks pretty convincing for what I was trying to do. For a first go, I certainly ain't mad. All right. Thanks. Was going for a sheer fabric kind of look where the fabric is pressed up against the skin, it shows through. And I feel like I almost got it. I feel like it's almost there, but not quite. Let that calm down for a second. And we'll work on something else for just a second. Another reminder, if you didn't catch the first one, if you're watching this on Facebook, I can't see your comments. So if it seems like I'm ignoring you, I promise it's because Facebook hates artists and makes self-promotion of any kind practically impossible. So if you're watching on Facebook and you would like to interact and join the chat, then pop on over to twitch.tv/DungeonBrush. That's Dungeon Brush, one word. Okay. We have a skin tone, we have clothes. Let's start going backwards. Let's start working on some of the things we know how to do, like metallics, like getting all the little details and things touched in. Alright, let's try again for these eyes. can work with that. Give her some black hair. Because of all this stuff on her back. She's got like two huge like anime style swords on her back. And it is making painting her hair kind of a challenge. There's a spot where I missed with the wash. Back here. Yep, I knew I was going to do that. And now I've overdone it. Which is fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. I'm going to give our Ghoul Queen some icy blue lips. Still not crazy about how her face is looking. There's something off about it. Let's let that dry. Still not. There's so much back and forth on this one. I'm gonna be at this one for a while. So that just doesn't look like skin to me. That looks better. We'll see how it looks when it dries. I feel like this is going to be one of those minis where I can go back and forth and back and forth, and it's never going to look the way I want it to. Paint her antennae or horns or whatever they are. They look like antenna to me, but you know, who am I to judge? Alright. Those. Got to do a little bit of touch up on the hair because I did get a little out of control there. Just right there, though. Alright. We're going to just give that a second to dry. While that's drying, I'm going to go over my announcements again. For those of you who missed out on the announcements, and I know you miss listening to my dulcet voice, the donation drive to replace my broken hard drive and get all my 3D printable minis is still going on. So feel free to go to twitch.tv/dungeonbrush if you are not watching on Twitch. And if you are watching on Twitch, go to the About page and click on that great big donate button. That will take you to the Twitch tip page, and every donation there goes towards replacing the hard drive that I broke that had all of my 3D printable minis on it. Half of the stuff that I paint on this channel is stuff that I have bought or gotten on Patreon to 3D print and then paint. So I lost a lot of content when that hard drive died. So I am raising a little bit of money to get a new hard drive, which would be like 50 or 60 bucks, and then pay somebody else who is much smarter than me to take the information that was on the old hard drive and put it on the new hard drive. You can also donate to that by the Venmo. The Venmo is scrolling across the ticker tape at the bottom of the screen in just a moment. It should be there right now. All of the donation page, all of the Venmo, any money that gets sent to this channel goes right back into the channel. It replaces the hard drive. It buys minis, buys paints, buys brushes, buys filming equipment, so that I can bring this nonsense to you for your sick and twisted entertainment. If you don't feel like sending money, and it is Christmas, so if you'd like to buy me a present too, I do send nudes for presents. There is an Amazon wish list in the About section as well. Everything on that wish list is stuff that gets used on the channel. How else can you... there's some affiliate links on the screen as well if you're on Twitch. If you'd like to get some paint gubbins of your own to start painting yourself, or continue painting yourself, or just change how you paint yourself, you can do that. And every time you click on one of those affiliate links to buy something, I get a little bit of a kickback, so that goes towards supporting the channel as well. Support and follow. If you subscribe, that's awesome. We are doing a subscription goal, so if we can get 20 subscriptions by Christmas, I'll do a mini where I finger paint the entire thing. No brushes, all fingers. It's going to be weird. It's going to be terrible. Can't wait. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I just wanted to go over those one last time before we dive back in to this mini. That's all. Yeah. Let's see. What next? I hate how the dress looks in the back. We've got some work to do back here. I hate it. That is tons better already. Just the transition from one tone to the next just didn't look good. Alright. I've already got some of you out, as a matter of fact, already. That makes my life easy. Now, there is a slight tone variation between her two sets of horns that I'm going to be playing with here in just a second. Yeah, like using fingerprints to texture. That'd be fun. Yeah, I have no idea how I'm gonna finger paint a mini. I have no idea, like, how possible that even is. But we're only 9 subscribers away from finding out. There's a lot of stuff going on back here, and I have no idea what any of it is. What the fuck is all that? Just playing around with some highlights on these little dangly, flappy fabric bits. They were looking a little plain. I thought, you know what would look nice here? Would be nice for these? Some bright pink highlights. But I'm doing them thin enough that as they dry, they just turn into medium purple highlights. What brush brand is that? That's Army Painter. They're nice. They're comfy. They are, in fact, some comfy brushes. And their Regiment brush, which is the one I use most often, keeps a really good point. I've actually been really impressed with the point that it keeps. Okay. I'm about to, I'm hoping to anyway soon make the jump to like some pro grade brushes. I'm gonna try and pick up a Raphael 8404, which is kind of the Raphael 8404 and the Winsor Newton Series 7 are kind of the two industry standard brushes, and evidently they'll just keep going and going, man. They just last. Yeah, believe me, man. I've burned through my fair share of Walmart brushes too. Alright, now it's just a matter of like I don't know that I can, but if John's still in here, he certainly can. Being British and all, his British accent is pretty on point. Yeah, I've used some. Actually, I've got some Royal and Langnickel around here somewhere. I've definitely used them. They're good brushes. I mean, you can get a good paint job out of them. At this point, it's just paint what I can see that I recognize. Which, because there's some shit going on the backside of this Mini that just I don't understand. But in reality, this Mini was purchased and painted specifically so that I could do that see-through fabric bit, which I'm still not super happy with. I just don't think I've got quite enough of a transition. Also, I think my paint's a little too thin, too. Might be contributing to the problem. Huh? Yep. I've just gone into a zone of okay, I recognize what color that needs to be, so I'm gonna do that. Between jumping ahead and this just being a generally less of a clean sculpt than what I'm used to, my brain is having some difficulty picking out the detail and figuring out what some things are. So it's just a matter of okay, I know that is a bone. I'm going to paint that bone. Or I know that is a leather. I'm going to paint that a leather. And then I'm just periodically going to go back and look at that leg and say, no, that's not it. That's not it. They're around here somewhere. But a big part of it's a Reaper bones. And Reaper bones are not known for their clean sculpt lines. I mean, don't get me wrong. I do love me some Reaper minis. I've painted a whole hell of a lot of them, and I will continue to paint a whole hell of a lot of them. They could be cleaner. Being able to 3D print my own minis and being able to get the insane quality of minis that I'm able to get has spoiled me. Not gonna lie. Were they like designed bases or just like the lip bases? Because if they're just like the plain Reaper bases with the lip, I love those things. Greenback metal minis at Rush. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Every once in a while, looking at Reaper minis, I come across one that I painted for our old 4th edition D&D game, and it just brings me back. Yeah, I love the lip for basing. I just think it, like, that kind of separation from the table and from the rim of the base. I just think it looks so good. Pius, you play AdMech, right? I went through my box of minis, or box of 40K unpack. Oh, motherfucker! Look at that! Dropped my paint brush into a big glob of paint. Shit. Just kind of going through and looking at them and seeing what I had, seeing what I want, seeing what I still got. It's nice to put my hands on them every once in a while, just to remember. It's alright, not the first time, won't be the last either. Oh my god, there are so many little strappy bits on this model. Just about got everything color blocked in. To a point where I can at least see what I'm doing. And I think, just to kind of like, yeah, very strapped. Just to kind of give my brain a little bit of a break, I'm going to set this one aside and do something easy for a second. Ugh. My eyes are growing crossed looking at all those little bits. I've got this little red dragon, which is another Reaper mini. I need to finish it up. It's not going to take much at all. Sometimes it's nice just to take a little bit of a break if a model is giving me shit. What's the base color of this red dragon? I'm pretty sure I based him in corn red, washed him in Carisburg crimson, and dry brushed him in Mephiston red. Right now, I'm doing his belly Xandri Dust. He's going to get a nice second wash of Ye Old Agrax Earthshade. And then some detailed highlight dry brushing of Evil Sun Scarlet, probably. Oh. Yeah, Mephiston red, I like it as a mid-tone red. I don't really like using it as a base, but I'll use it as a mid-tone. this little guy's getting a pretty basic paint job. Nothing really special going on here. I just want to get him done so he can hang out with the other red dragons on my shelf. Have a good night, Jeff. Always a pleasure. I started painting this so that I would take a break from this, and I have spent more time looking at this than I have this. I am so bad at taking a break. Let's get some wash on our little dragon boy here, and then we'll go back and putz around on our ghoul queen. Well, I've got a few at this point. I have painted all of the Nalzur's chromatic dragons. I'm working on the Nalzur's and Reaper chromatic wormlings and hatchlings, the babies. And then I have some 3D printable full-grown adult big bad boy dragons that I'm going to break into eventually. Are you talking about that red dragon on my profile picture? That one I painted before I started streaming. Like, I might have painted that before I even had a Twitch account. Trying to pop my back. Didn't really work. Alright, let's get back to putzing around here. I think we might almost be done. At least done with, like, the weird detail stuff. All the little bits and bobs and hangy bits, and then I can just go through and highlight and shadow all that. remind me, Pius. I'll take a good close-up picture of that model so you can see how insanely simple that paint job is. Like there's just nothing at all to it. That thing was literally just paint red, wash brown, paint red again, dry brush red again. The end. Alright. Color blocked. We're going to let the back dry, and then I'm going to hit it, well, almost color blocked. There is a bit right there that I missed. Okay. What do I need to do now? I need to do something about those arms. They need a wash. They're just going to get a very light black wash. And then I'll bring them back up. And that'll give them a little depth and a little life. And then we got to do something about that face. Ever so gently rewash the face, but try not to get any in the eye sockets. That's better. Yeah. Pretty happy with that. I just want to give all these spindly little details on the back some depth. And we're just going to do that the old-fashioned way by giving them a good old-fashioned brown wash. I'm still just not happy with how that leg looks. It needs a little bit more paint. Where's my, there it is. I want one little dot here of glaze medium. I want to glaze some black. Define some of these lines in her corset, make it actually kind of look like a corset. My glaze ended up a little heavy, but that's okay. That's okay. Once upon a time, I had a thing that helped me cheat when trying to put pupils in eyeballs. And I have since lost it. That makes me very sad. I used to do it with a Micron pen. Just paint the eye white, get in there with an ink pen, with an art pen. Hmm. I wonder. What I'm about to do could very well screw up everything, but it also could not. We'll see how that looks when it dries. Oh, I miss all the time. Constantly. That's half the fun. That's how you get practice. Painting eyes is by painting them, screwing them up, painting over them, doing it again. I think putting a little bit of a skin tone wash on the leg really may have done the trick. That really may have done it. I'm gonna do a little bit of blue right there, right around the edge. I think that did it. I think that one little touch there may have actually finally fucking finished that leg. And then, honestly, I'm not even going to worry about all the garbage back there. That's not the point of this mini. I think she might be done. I think she might be done enough to set over there and think about for a minute. While I'm thinking about it, I am going to pop that window open. Actually, no, you know what? I will be back in just a moment. I'm going to take a fiber. I will be back. Don't go anywhere. Why isn't my thing working? Oh, fuck it. I'll do it over here. Alright. Back in a minute. I'm back. We're back. Executive decisions have been made. And the executive decision that I've made is that I'm done with her for the night. I'm done with her for now. Eventually, I'm going to go in. I'm going to do a little bit more detail work on the face and on all the little gubbins in the back and just clean it up and make it look nicer. But for now, this mini is frustrating me, so I'm putting her away. Go away. Lovely. Let's paint a fucking dragon. This dragon is literally going to take about 8 seconds to paint. I got one more thing to do to it, and then it's done. But it's not that fucking Ghoul Queen. And it's not that, like, I don't like that model. It's just it's a frustrating model. The sculpt is frustrating me. The lack of being able to get the goddamn thing right. The sheer fabric effect. Not being able to get that right is frustrating me. There's a lot going on with that mini that's frustrating, and so I'm putting it away. Putting it aside for now. And we're going to paint this dragon. I am super particular, super picky about my dragon minis. They don't follow like D&D rules of dragons. Like if they're not what the D&D books say dragons look like, I really don't want them. I know it's a mythical creature. It's not real. There's no point in like there being rules or anything, but you know, still, part of me really likes codification. And most of these minis are to be used eventually one day in a D&D game, so I don't know. I've got a thing about it. I gotta lean over to grab this thing. Doesn't look like much is going on here in the internet land. I tell you, the hardest part about doing this Twitch thing is talking to yourself for 3 hours. That's like a whole thing. If I'm not talking when someone pops in the channel, they are far more likely to pop back out. So I end up talking to myself a lot. You know, and yeah, people do shit. Hell, my partner watches just about every time, but she's upstairs, you know, wrangling children. So sometimes participating in the chat is not easy for her. You know, sometimes people got papers to write. Sometimes they got, you know, shit going on. And I appreciate those people that like pop in and keep the thing open and you know, pumps my viewership numbers up. All good things. But that is the hardest part. Is that constant, like, having to keep words happening pretty constant. My palette is a mess. Absolute mess over here. Paint rack's a mess. My palette's a mess. I'm a mess. What a shit show. I'm learning to use a wet palette. Like that's been kind of my my new thing. So I'm trying to figure this wet palette nonsense out. And let me tell you, I ain't figured it out yet. It is very much a different beast than what I'm used to. There are aspects of it that are kind of like learning to paint all over again. And there are definitely aspects of it where I am making shit up as I go. And pretending that I know what I'm doing. That's the big thing. Is I'm not just making it up. I'm pretending that I know what I'm doing. I am I am bringing Fake It Till You Make It to a whole new level. A dark skin tone. We're going to do some contouring. Let's see, I can pull my reference picture back up. This point on this mini, I'm just kind of racing around in circles and being like, ooh, this, ooh, that. Ooh, I should do a touch there. I should do a little highlight there. Just trying to get to a point where I would be comfortable calling this miniature done. And I just have not gotten to that point yet. Progress. Progress, progress, progress. You're getting there. Well, I just don't see her getting much better than that. So, let's move on to our last little trick here. And let's do the base. For the base, I'm just doing the classic Zach Paints a Stone kind of look. She doesn't really have, much in the way of a base, which is pretty typical Reaper. Alright folks, I'm calling this one done. I am to a point where I am comfortable saying that this mini is finished. It isn't great. It's not my best work. But I'm happy enough with it that it will earn itself a spot on the shelf. Give this little dangly bit here a little freehandy detail. There. I just did some vertical lines there, trying to make it look like a tassel of some sort. Alright. Yeah, she's done. I'm going to keep saying it until I believe it. And with that, I think I'm going to call it a night. We've got our dragon pretty much done. We've got our ghoul queen pretty much done. I should be back tomorrow. During the day, I will find another mini in my giant pile of unpainted minis to paint tomorrow, and I think I'm gonna go do something, do something nice for myself. Maybe I'll have some ice cream, or probably not, seeing as I don't think I have any ice cream. Here's what I'll do. I'll just have a great night, and I hope you do the same. Don't forget to follow, to subscribe, to check out the Amazon stuff, the Govins affiliate links on the video, and the wish list. Donate to the Restore My Ability to 3D Print Minis fund above, and love y'all. Have a great night.